Hello, Pedro. How are you
Hi,
doing in Portugal?
fine with nice weather today, fortunately. How about yourself in Poland?
In Poland, we have, I think, 12 degrees, and we are about New Year's. So it's strange for that part of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you another question about VDA 6.3. Let's maybe jump into audit questionnaire. I would like to divide the questionnaires into P2 to P4 and P5 to
Okay.
P6 to discuss with you. So today, let's discuss about P2 and P4. What is the basic concept of this process elements?
Okay, so regarding P2, P3, and P4, and let me make a comment that has come up in a few trainings. It's up to the auditor, to the VDA 6.3 auditor, to select the process elements that he or she is going to audit. So it's perfectly normal that we have a P2, P3, P4 audit all alone without P5, P6, P7. In fact, if we are in the early stages of a project, it might make sense to audit only P2 and P3. If we are in the late stages, it can make sense to audit P2, P3, and P4. So it's up to the auditor to define the scope, the objective, based on the objective for the audit. But what are we going to have here in P2, P3, P4? As we can see here in the bottom part, we have the VDA maturity level assurance, the project development, the product and process development model from VDA. Typically for a supplier, it starts here with ML2, that is the award of the contract. Then it will go for the specifications, for the development of product and process, for the first of two parts, the serial parts, for the PPA, as the German OEMs call, the process and product approval, and then already after SOP, the maturity level 7, that will be the close-up, the lessons learned, and the close of the project. That's what P2, P3, and P4 talk about as well. P2, it covers all the development. It's the project development process element. How are we organized as a project team? What are the roles and the responsibilities? How do we manage a project plan? How do we manage the quality-related activities within that plan? How we plan resources? And here's something that VDA is more and more focusing. How do we involve also our supplier bases from a project management point of view? P3 and P4, as I see it, they are more operational. This is an individual opinion only. I see P2 more as a procedure part of the project management, and P3 and P4 the direct implementation of those procedures. So in P3 we are talking about the early stages of the development. We will be talking about, in my opinion, two of the most important topics in development. How do we identify all the requirements for development, and how do we perform a manufacturing feasibility analysis based on those requirements. From there onwards, we will keep talking about the availability of the resources. We'll talk about, again, the procurement activities now in this new standard, in this new version, more focus also during P3 and P4 on the supply chain management during development. And something that differs from the IETF, we will start talking right from this topic about how to provide customer service. Okay, so P3 will be the early stages of the project, while P4 will be the later stages of the development, including, again, availability of resources, human and material, the validation of the several stages of the project that will culminate in the PPA, in the PPAP, if you prefer. That will talk us again about the project, and if all the results of the project are completely aligned with the objectives of the project. That will talk again about procurement, that will talk again about customer service, and as we move towards the SOP, we'll start asking about the exact words, a test, a full rate test, or functional test, to avoid using the most common words of a run at rate or a 2 days production. So before we land with these activities, with this validation of the development, that will be the submission of the PPAP and the validation of the process at full production rate. So as the end of P4 will be how is the handover from development to production, which will be also the same question when we reach P6, how was the project handed over to production. So there will be, in a resume, all the development stages here during P2, P3, and P4, and we will assure the interfacing between development and production with the questions from P4 and P6. In the meantime, if we look here to the slide, we will see that we will have P5, supplier activities, that in a chronological way will start also during development. But for all due aspects, P5 will be part of the next episode, and it will be part of the series production, including P5, P6, and P7.
Great. I have the impression when I'm auditing the organizations that there is not that high awareness that project management, these phases from P2 to P4 are extremely important to plan the right quality, to understand the requirements, to assure that these requirements will be fulfilled in the project design and development phase. And then in the serial production, we can avoid problems if these actually 3 stages will be held really very, very well.
Yeah.
Okay, Pedro, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's meet in another episode for P5, P6, and P7, which you mentioned already. So see you soon. Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you, Agatha.